A show on this cold, chilly Thursday morning. I almost said Wednesday. No, we're almost to the end of the week. We're getting there. Jonathan Dent filling in for Art here in the second hour. I'll stick around for the Focus show at 11 as well. But for this hour, we're going to be talking about a staple of the Saginaw community, and it is the Saginaw Art Museum. And who better to talk to than the Associate Director of Temple Arts, Thor Rasmussen. Thor, good morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us. So, the thing that brought the Saginaw Art Museum up was an upcoming event you've got in a couple weeks here, but it made us realize we haven't talked about the museum in a little while. So we'll get to the Art After Dark event coming up, but just give us an overview. How is the Art Museum doing? What's been going on there? I'm sure you've had a lot of events to close out the year and now starting out 2026 as well.
Sure, yeah. A lot of times people think art museum and boring in the same sentence, and we disagree with that pretty vehemently. There's nothing boring. It's a dynamic and ever-changing place. So, throughout the last several months, we've had a number of exhibitions. Some of those have come down, but more recently, we've opened a new exhibition by the artist Mark Piotrowski. That just opened last week, and we have another exhibition that will be opening in this coming week on February 5th. Richard Lewis, he's a Detroit-based artist. So that's the exhibition side. People are also able to interact with our collection. There's certain pieces of art that change a little bit less frequently than our temporary exhibitions. And, anybody that's looking to get out of the house, it's a great opportunity to come and explore a little bit and see some art and maybe make some art in some of our workshops.
Absolutely. Now, do you have a collection that you'll rotate things in and out of every so often?
Right. So the museum has its own collection of art. These are pieces that are collected over time, either through gift or purchase. Most recently, we acquired a piece by an artist, Irving Kaus, that is up in our second level. And so it's an ongoing process of finding those pieces that match what we already have or supplement what we're aiming for in terms of showcasing the artwork to the community. And the permanent collection is something that makes the museum really quite special and a little bit different than perhaps other gallery spaces. We're there to be there for the long run and take care of these pieces and use them for the public and educating people about art as well.
Yeah, it's one of those places that I've been there a few times. It's been over a year since I've been there the last time, but every time I drive past, I go, I bet there's something new in there that I haven't seen. I got to get in there sometime.
Yeah. The one interesting part that we've recently done within the last year or so is we've created a space called Views from the Vault. Ooh. And it's a rotating piece from our collection that will be on display for a temporary period of time, usually a couple of months, and then comes down and we pick something else from our collection to put up. A lot of times these are prints or drawings which are more light sensitive, and so they can't be on display all the time, but we can rotate them and put them out so that people can experience and view them on an ongoing basis.
What's the age of some of the paintings and other media that you have there? Because you say light sensitive, that has a lot to do with when it was made, I imagine. But how old are we talking for a lot of these?
Sure. So there's pieces in the museum that are quite old, from the first millennia on to more present times. Much of the paintings, many of the paintings that we have are from the late 1800s and early 1900s. We do have a couple more modern pieces, but those are a little bit of the exception rather than the rule. The museum's focus has been more on that late 1800s, early 1900s in terms of the paintings itself. That's something that we're thoughtful about and thinking through how we might add to our collection with more modern pieces or more contemporary pieces. But a lot of times we'll be working with contemporary artists, and that's for our temporary exhibition. So we are able to try and connect the dots between some of our art history and the older pieces in our collection with perhaps newer works by contemporary artists with our temporary exhibition spaces.
Yeah, it's fun to be able to have both of those and some of the newer stuff a little bit more. You get a refresh every so often with the exhibitions.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the older pieces, too, you mentioned some of the education programs that you have going on in art education. I know that's a big part of it with not only kids, but adult programs as well to come in and learn about some of this history and things. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you mentioned, we have programs for the youth through our Arts for All program, where youth can come to the museum.
How long has that been going on?
That's
been a few years.
Yeah,
right?
it's been about 3 years.
Yeah.
But right now, that program encompasses Saginaw Intermediate School District, Bay Aranac Intermediate School District, and Midland County Education Service Agency. So it is a regional based program at this point, and we're really proud of the way that that's grown and the support that's come behind that. As I left the museum today, there was a field trip there, and cool. So there's the interaction in the gallery spaces, but also in our studio space. But
while we're on that subject, that applies to kids out of school too, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's the opportunity for field trips, but also for those students to come with their adults, and experience it on an individual basis. So with their peers as well as with their families. So really a little bit of a both and kind of scenario. In terms of the adult education and exploring the museum that way, we do have docent-led tours throughout the museum every second Saturday. So those that are interested in getting sort of a refresh of what we have in our collection and on the walls, that's a wonderful opportunity to come on the second Saturday of the month. I believe it's at 2 p.m. I have a lot of dates and times in my head, but it's a perfect opportunity for maybe somebody who's less familiar with the museum or is interested in getting out on a Saturday afternoon to see what the museum has to offer in a more structured way.
Yeah. And that information is probably online, SaginawArtMuseum.org.
Yep,
right?
You got it. Yeah, all our events and programs, everything I'll talk about today is available through our website and our social channels.
Good to know. Well, we're going to talk about one of those upcoming events in just a little bit. Got to take a break. We're talking with Thor Rasmussen. He's the Associate Director at Temple Arts, and we'll be back after these notes.
Hi, this is Jim.
We have programming at both organizations, and so it's how it worked out.
I think it works pretty well, though.
Yeah,
something during the week.
I think so too. Yeah. Not everybody wants to go out on a weekend, and gives people something to get them through their week.
Yeah, it's February 11th, so coming up in a couple weeks here. Tell me what people can expect.
Sure. So the museum's a wonderful place to visit and go on a date anytime. So I'll start by saying that, if you have somebody that you want to continue to impress or impress for the first time, stop by the art museum. Art within itself has a way of bringing people together and creating dialogue and connection.
I think that's the biggest thing. It's a conversation.
It's a conversation. Yeah. And so, with that in mind, we thought, well, Valentine's Day, what better time to do something like this? So we're excited to have an evening that has a little bit of music and some art creation activities, as well as some tours, like we mentioned earlier, for people to explore the museum a little bit more. And, the goal is for people to connect with one another. And, we feel like we're providing a pretty incredible environment for that. And, whether they bring somebody with them or if somebody's coming solo, magic things can happen at the Saginaw Art Museum. So we're just putting that out there.
Come with a group of friends too. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, make it a Galentine's
Yeah.
or something like that. But one way or another, the goal is connection and bringing our community members closer together and building a memory and experience that they can carry with them.
Now, this is the first time you guys are doing this?
Yeah, so this is the inaugural event.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes this year, but we anticipate that based on the response we've had so far, that it could very well be a perennial event. A lot of times we'll start something at the museum just as a pilot program and then judge the response and mix it into the regular yearly calendar. And I'm hopeful that this will be one of those kinds of events for people to look forward to in the future years.
Yeah. Now, worth mentioning, it's 21 and older.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 or younger.
Yep.
I imagine that has something to do with the food and drinks being served.
That's right. Yep. There will be some adult beverages available at the event, and that's part of the registration cost as well.
That's good to know. Now, something that you mentioned in the activities caught my ear. There's art creation activities, and that's something you guys do at the museum year-round, but what can be expected on February 11th?
Yeah, so our education manager has some tasks that we hope will bring people closer together. There's some guided activities for participants to do, and so they'll be leaving the museum with a piece of art, not off the walls, but
Self-made.
Yeah, self-made, and that can be wrapped up and given next year too. So it's sort of the gift that keeps on giving, and it creates a cornerstone for remembering the event as well.
That's fun. You mentioned tours as well. You're going to have exhibitions still going at that time? Yeah.
Absolutely. So the art's staying on the walls. The exhibitions that we'll have in our gallery spaces will be for people to view. I mentioned Mark's work earlier. He has some pieces that are especially tuned toward an event of this kind, and very colorful and inviting, and I think that people will connect with that at the event.
Now, I see on the list there's a museum-wide scavenger hunt, too. Is that just tracking down different pieces of art? That could be fun.
Yeah, you got it. So a scavenger hunt is a great way of looking a little bit more closely for details. And
That's a good point.
We find that sometimes people will view a piece of art and just sort of casually walk by, whereas a scavenger hunt is always a fun activity to find the details of a piece and study it a little bit longer and talk about it. And so it's going to be a really quite wonderful.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that part of it, but
well, and one person might see something in the artwork that somebody misses, and so it's a good way to working together.
yeah, absolutely. And live music too.
Yep. Mary Faith and Leo will be providing our music, our entertainment for the evening. They're just a delightful couple, and so it's going to be quite a night.
That's exciting. So that's February 11th. It's a Wednesday evening. Art After Dark, date night at the Saginaw Art Museum. Anything else you want to mention on that before because I want to get into some of the other programs that are going on here.
Yeah, we are requiring registration, so we would encourage people to register for the event early. Once it fills up, we'll have to close that registration. So
it's limited.
It's limited.
Okay.
Yeah, we only have so many spots for this, and so those that are listening recommend that they do that before the end of the week.
All right, good to know. Let's move on to some of the other upcoming events and activities, because I didn't even mean to, but I stumbled across a list, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's an active place. Like I mentioned at the top. Any given day, there's something going on.
Yeah. So after Valentine's Day, what's the next big
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, so we'll be hosting a poetry night at the end of the month. That's going to be on February 26th, and that's going to be free and open to the public. So whether people are poets themselves or listen to poetry, it's another one of those opportunities to present some a different art form, but we find that the museum's a special place for that level of expression. And again, another excuse to see what's on the walls and in the gallery spaces. So that's going on. I'd also mention that we have a couple of gardening workshops that are happening in February. We recently shifted our name towards Saginaw Art Museum and Gardens. Mm-hmm. And so there's 2 seasons. There's gardening season outside, and there's thinking about gardening when it's 10 degrees outside. So we'll be hosting a couple of those in February in partnership with Michigan State Extension. So again, some education and ways of thinking about the garden before it starts to bloom in the spring. It's going to be a good time.
I like that. Everything you're saying has me thinking, okay, so you've got these events, but you're going to see something different each time you come back to the museum, depending on time of year, depending on what exhibition is there. It might make it worth being a regular thing to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's seasons to the museum. So, right now it's winter and the garden's dormant. It's still lovely to look at from inside. But come springtime, we say that people come for the art and they stay for the gardens. So that's not too far away. I know it seems dark and cold right now, but once things start to thaw and it starts to green up out there, we'll have some incredible opportunities for volunteers to engage and some learning opportunities. So it really is a great place to be engaged with year round, whether that's informally, just stopping in, or if people want to become members of the museum, we'd invite them to do that and continue their engagement, or through volunteering. We have all kinds of help that shows up for leading our field trips, or helping in the garden, or doing some more administrative tasks, or supporting our events. So we're sort of on the constant lookout for members, volunteers, and donors, and keeping an eye open for those people.
I want to talk about membership, but we got to take a quick break. We're talking with Thor Rasmussen, Associate Director at Temple Arts. Going to take a quick break, but first, let me tell you about Krijak's House Family Restaurant, the best place to go for authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Hey, it's cold outside, I know. We got through the holidays, but spring is right around the corner, and there are going to be plenty of events, activities, and get-togethers. And if you need to supply the food, well, Krijak's has the way for you to do that. Go to Krijak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side, or call 989-894-5531. That's Krijak's House Family Restaurant. We'll be right back.
Gotta go.
And we're back here on the Art Lewis Show. Jonathan Dent filling in for Art here this morning. We're talking with Thor Rasmussen, Associate Director at Temple Arts. And before we went to that last break, Thor, you said the magic word membership. Being a member.
Yeah.
What does being a member... Well, first of all, let me ask, is it a member with Temple Arts, or is it a membership with the Art Museum specifically?
Yeah, so we have a Temple Arts membership that provides some benefits to both organizations in terms of access to information and some other perks. And so when the organizations merged, it became an opportunity to serve the community a little bit more poignantly with offerings at both locations. And so at the same time, we thought, well, we're looking to get people engaged with art, and as a larger arts organization, we can do that through our membership programs. So there are various levels of membership, from the senior and student level to right on up the line, and depending on a person's level of interest and engagement, there's different benefit levels for each of those offerings. And again, all on our website at SaginawArtMuseum.org. But yeah, membership is a great way of showing support for the organization and being engaged in the organization at the same time. And we're really grateful to those who have been members for just a little while, and new members, as well as those that are stalwart members for many, many years. A lot of times it's fun to receive some of those memberships back from people who have been engaged for 3, 5, 10 years with the organization in one form or another. So really a great opportunity for every level.
Oh, for sure. And are there membership only events? Do you get early access discounts? What are some of the benefits from even a basic level?
Sure. So many of the membership levels involve some discounts on our workshops and programs. A lot of times we'll release something to members first, whether that's a promotional code for the Temple Theater show or access to an event at the museum, so that there's a first access there. And so there's some of these little things that end up adding up, and we like to take care of those that have shown investment in our organization in a special way, and an appreciation for that.
Absolutely. Over the course of a year, I bet there's plenty of opportunities that come your way as a member.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything entailed with membership for this Art After Dark event next month?
No,
Did they get early access to that?
For this event, we opened it especially because it's more of
the
new one,
yeah.
the pilot one. So I anticipate that next year we'll have a special membership benefit.
Fun stuff. So we have mentioned that it's not just the Saginaw Art Museum, it's the Temple Theater as well.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about some of the fun events, exhibitions, all of that going on at the Art Museum.
Mm-hmm.
What's been going on at the Temple Theater? I'm sure they've been busy too.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Temple Arts is the organization that encompasses both the Saginaw Art Museum and Gardens and the Temple Theater as one larger not-for-profit arts organization. And so the Temple Theater is equally active, more in the performing arts arena rather than the visual arts, but a little bit of both there. So we made it through the holiday season and a number of shows throughout that time period. And in the coming month, we'll sort of continue our efforts to reach different members of the community. So we'll be hosting the Saginaw Bay Symphony Orchestra on February 7th. So we're grateful to be the home for that organization, and they always do just a knockout job of presenting some of the best and finest talent that Michigan has on the stage. It's always a wonder to watch the way that these musicians perform. I like to say it's sort of the equivalent of watching a professional athlete, like people at the top of their skill level, and so we encourage people to attend that performance. And then the following week, Swan Lake, the ballet, will be on February 13th. So another date opportunity, we think so, but that will present a different form, where we have music with the symphony, we have dance, with Swan Lake, and they too are athletes in their own right in terms of their movement, and it's a wonder to watch in our space, in the Temple Theater, in the beauty and grandeur of our space, right up with the beauty and grandeur of the sets that this company brings and the performances that they do. Even if somebody isn't necessarily into ballet, to have an experience like this at the Temple Theater is something special, and so we're looking forward to that. And then at the end of the month, February 21st, we're shifting gears a little bit. We're going to have Dusty Slay. He's a comedian, and he's going to be stopping by the Temple Theater in his route through Saginaw here.
That's fun.
And so we like to provide a little bit of a blend.
And that's great, yeah.
Something for everybody. Really cool.
So we got to take a break, but as I'm hearing all of this, and I'm thinking back to our conversations about the Art Museum and Gardens, the word that keeps coming up, in my mind anyway, is access. We're getting access to top-of-the-line music, dancing, comedy coming through at the theater, and then exhibitions with local-ish artists, new artists. I want to talk about the importance of that access when we come back from this break.
Are you overdue for an
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. A few more minutes left here in hour number 2 as we're talking with Thor Rasmussen with Temple Arts. And Thor, as we're talking for this whole hour, we're talking about incredible art and incredible music and performance at the Temple Theater. And it just made me think of, okay, all of this is just down the road, downtown Saginaw. How important is that when it comes to bringing that kind of thing to our local community? That's your job.
Sure. Yeah. It's interesting to think about how much programming that we can do for our community directly, but also the wider impact that has in terms of drawing people from outside our community, people that may be from different regions of the state or even out of state in the case of the Temple Theater many times, or even the museum. When we host a show at the Temple Theater, we're seeing more and more people recognize that, hey, Saginaw is pretty easy to access. I can get to Saginaw within, an hour's drive, hour and a half drive. And so it's turning heads a little bit in terms of the accessibility of Saginaw to not just our community members, but people outside of the region. It's also really neat to think about the way that we can present these different performances and art encounters with those that are local, and helping people recognize that you don't need to drive to downtown Detroit to see some of these performances. You have it in your neighborhood. And so we try and encourage people that, see what's going on, explore what's happening in your community, and take advantage of it. On March 10th, we'll have Joshua Bell at the theater. He's, without exaggeration, one of the finest violinists of our modern times. And to have his level of talent coming to Saginaw, Michigan, and performing in the Temple Theater, it's no small thing. And we're grateful for the people locally who have recognized that, but also really encouraged by the way that people outside the local community are starting to see what we're able to do as a theater. And it's always exciting when a tour comes out and we see the Temple Theater, Saginaw, Michigan, on that show poster, right alongside places like Chicago or Cleveland and Indianapolis. And so the more that we can do that, the better. And I think, even on the museum side, when somebody comes and visits a new space, what are they looking for? They're looking for an art museum. They're looking for a park. They're looking for these city-like urban opportunities. And we're very grateful and lucky to be able to provide that. in a big and meaningful way. And so, yeah, the access for those locally and close to home and those far away is pretty phenomenal.
Well, and for the artists as well, you're bringing in local artists, kind of side by side, shoulder to shoulder, in the same spaces at least, as some of these huge names that they probably look up to.
Sure. Yeah. We had the privilege of hosting Saginaw Arts and Sciences Academy dance and vocal student groups at the theater late last year. And it is neat to think that, these students, when they're done here in Saginaw, they might go away somewhere for a little while, but Saginaw is going to be that drawback.